Bond. James Bond.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep! Sublime!
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Tear me apart, Lisa!
But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of You Haven't Seen That, a movie discussion podcast where we introduce our friend Ben to movies he should have seen a long time ago. I'm your host, Amanda.
I'm Geoff.
And I'm Ben.
And today we are discussing Wayne's World. And stick around until the end. We'll be doing our top 4 male SNL actors. Party on, Geoff. Party on, Ben.
Wayne's World. Wayne's World. This is a long description, so apologize, everybody.
So plot heavy.
Just
You'll see in a
describe the whole
second.
movie.
Listen, it's Letterboxd provided a book, so apologies. The adventures of two amiably aimless metalhead friends, Wayne and Garth. From Wayne's basement, the pair broadcast a talk show called Wayne's World on local public access television. The show comes to the attention of a sleazy network executive who wants to produce a big budget version of Wayne's World. And he also wants Wayne's girlfriend, a rock singer named Cassandra. Wayne and Garth have to battle the executive, not only to save their show, but also Cassandra. Like I said, apologies for the long description. Basically just describing the plot. Released in February of 1992, the number 1 song in the country, I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred.
We know that one.
We do know that one. In world news, Jeffrey Dahmer was found guilty of killing people and found not to be insane while doing so.
Cool.
In pop culture news, Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain got married right around this time. And in celebrity birthdays, 9 days before this movie came out, Jeffrey Blossett was born.
Look at that. A well-known podcast host.
That's how I knew what the number 1 song was going to be.
This movie was directed by Penelope Spheris, and this movie stars Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, Rob Lowe, Tia Carrere, Brian Doyle Murray, and features little brief cameo appearances by Chris Farley, Meatloaf, Alice Cooper, among others. This is based on an SNL sketch of the same name, and also a sketch done by Myers on Canadian television. With a $20 million budget, this movie ended up grossing $1 at the global box office. Over the 4-day weekend that it opened to number 1 and was number 1 for 5 straight weeks. This movie finished as the 8th highest grossing movie domestically of 1992, 10th highest worldwide. It was all right in terms of reception, 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, 57 on Metacritic, but has stood the test of time from a pop culture perspective. And a sequel to this movie was released the following year.
I'm really shocked it's been 5 straight weeks at number 1.
Right?
That feels crazy for a movie like this, regardless of what you think of it. Like, that feels wild to me.
We used to live in a society.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
It's also
It's
February, so
yeah,
that's like the
Must have been
slower
the-
time,
less competition.
I guess. Maybe. All right. Most excellent, Geoff. Thank you. Ben, let's hear your history with this movie.
Well, of course, I've never seen the movie, which is why we do this podcast. But I have watched SNL for a long time. This era of SNL predates me watching SNL, but I've watched a lot of older episodes of SNL as well, or at least older clips from it. So I've seen the Wayne's World sketches, at least some of them. I don't think I've seen all of them. So I was familiar with the general premise of the skit. And yeah, that's my history.
Excellent. What about you, Geoff?
So I've only seen this movie maybe 1 or 2 times. I haven't seen it since I've had Letterboxd. I looked in my logs and was like, oh, I have definitely not seen it in the last, say, 8 years or so. I didn't watch this movie. I would say I didn't watch this movie when it was released because I was 9 days old. But I never watched it really as a kid or as a teenager or anything. It was only until Amanda and I started seeing each other that she introduced it to me properly. I am not the biggest SNL fan. And by biggest SNL fan, I mean I don't watch SNL frequently. I do like the, skits and everything. So I wasn't as familiar with the sketch when I first saw this movie, but I was familiar with the cast. Michael Myers has had a pronounced, effect on my movie generation, if you will, my movie viewing generation for Shrek and Austin Powers and those kind of roles.
I like that you called him Michael Myers.
I know. I kind of switched in between. Sorry. Mike Myers.
Very different person
Very
than
different.
Michael
All right.
Myers.
So yeah, I was excited to revisit this movie.
Party on. I watched this movie. I was probably way too young to watch it, but my neighbor that lived across the street, shout out Steph, if you're listening, he showed me this movie and I thought it was very funny. I was probably like 10 or 11, I don't know. And so it's been a part of my cultural upbringing ever since. So, Geoff, let's hear your rating.
So this is the sort of second, I think, ridiculous comedy we've done this season. And I was far more receptive to this one than I was to Rat Race. Call it the 90s, the true 90s nostalgia of it. Call it the integrations with sponsorship and partnership marketing. That is a part of my day-to-day life that I just love with this movie. But I think it comes back to sort of the ridiculousness and also likability of our main characters. I love Wayne and Garth. They're very, very silly. They're very, very funny. But I find myself rooting for them throughout this movie, which I don't typically do for quote unquote stupider characters or not as self-aware characters. But I find this movie very, very charming. I think this has a great cast and I think it has a really just fun story around it. So I'm going to give this movie let's go with a 4.25. I haven't given a 4.25 yet this season.
Excellent. And what about you, Ben?
So I'm probably a bigger SNL fan than either of you two. I've watched it for a long time and like I said, familiar with some of these things that predate my SNL viewing experiences. I've never been a big fan of this particular sketch on SNL. And I actually am not that big a fan of Mike Myers or Michael Myers. I do like Dana Carvey. But yeah, Mike Myers, for some reason, aside from like him as Shrek, I've never been too like vibing with his sense of humor and his kind of style of comedy. So I found this to be like way too, I mean, this is one of the shorter movies we've watched for the podcast, yet it felt like interminably long because I'm like, this should be a 5-minute SNL sketch, which it was, which is where it came from. So there were certain things I did appreciate in it, but I overall did not enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
All right. Maybe one of your lowest of this season?
Of this season, yeah.
All right. For me, this, obviously, like I said, I've watched it many, many times. I think it's very funny. I think this is probably, well, most people consider it the best SNL movie made or movie based off of an SNL sketch. Not necessarily for me. I have one that ranks higher, but I really love this movie, so I'm giving it a 4.
Which one rates higher for you?
Superstar.
Oh.
That was going to be one of my recommendations at the end of this too.
Oh, okay.
I love that movie so much.
Fair.
So just some fun background information before we really get into talking about the movie. So Geoff and I watched this on VHS.
Oh, wow.
The quality was very not great, but you know what? It felt like when I used to watch it.
I was going to say, for a movie like this, I feel like it's not going to be that different of an experience watching it on VHS.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty, I mean, the quality wasn't like terrible, but it felt right to watch it in a worse quality.
Yeah.
So a couple interesting things. The VHS that we have was purchased at McDonald's. it literally says on the back that it's like I don't remember what it said, but it was like, thanks for purchasing this VHS at McDonald's, and has the McDonald's logo on it. And I was
Wow.
like, that's super weird. So I guess they must have had something going on with McDonald's at some point. And then the other interesting thing was we were really looking forward to the coming soon portion of any VHS tape. And
Oh, yeah.
there was a trailer for one movie, a Ridley Scott movie that I had never heard of before.
It's called 1492 Conquest of Paradise, which was not the most well received.
Yeah. And then there was, and the more you know, informational type thing with Magic Johnson talking about a like short film documentary, I don't know what it was, about HIV AIDS, and basically just being like, the more you know, you should watch this movie if you don't know about HIV and AIDS.
It is called Time Out: The Truth About HIV, AIDS, and You.
But I was like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if someone tried to put something in front of a movie about any sort of anything these days? That would not fly.
It looks like McDonald's, that was a thing that McDonald's would do like as part of their drive-through cross promotion. Not just Wayne's World, but there were other movies too that you could get for like $5 when you went through the drive-through at McDonald's.
Wow.
Interesting. Trying to get people in their newfangled drive-throughs or something.
Yeah, it's still not clear. Oh, there's an ad here. This is good podcasting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no memory of this because I don't believe I bought this movie at a McDonald's. I mean, obviously I was like too young to do that, but I don't think my parents bought it either. I actually think I may have accidentally stolen this from my neighbor who showed it to me. So again, Steph, if you're listening, I'm really sorry if this is actually your copy of Wayne's World.
Adam's Family, Five Will Goes West, Ghost. Some people said Back to the Future.
Oh,
there's
interesting.
All right.
Yeah, there's a TV commercial on YouTube if you want to search it. If people are interested.
Nice.
$5.99 when you buy a large sandwich from McDonald's.
Man, I wish I could buy a VHS for $5.99. Well, I mean, I could buy a VHS.
Would that be cool if
get...
that was like a retro thing McDonald's started doing now? They started giving
Right?
VHSs in their drive-thrus.
Absolutely. $5, I'd do that.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. Like, I feel like compared to like the way that like records never truly went away and then actually kind of came back in terms of music preference, like, you know, people are nostalgic for VHS, but I don't think anybody wants like their current movies on VHS.
No,
definitely not.
Take up a lot of room, and
yeah.
I don't know. I guess the CDs are the superior form of watching movies.
I was about to say, nobody's being kind in this world anymore, so no one will ever rewind. So why would you have VHSs?
Yeah.
So.
I hadn't rewind the last time we watched this.
Oh, tisk, tisk.
Anyways, we can start talking about the actual movie now.
Instead of VHSs. I have a lot of VHSs still, but not Wayne's World. One of the things that stood out to me was just how many things are from this movie. Some that I knew were from this movie or sketch, and some that I didn't, but so many lines and so many like things that have kind of permeated pop culture are from this.
It's amazing. It's really crazy to see the impact that this movie had. I mean, not just at the time, we were talking about it there at the beginning about its box office, but yeah, it's kind of wild, especially with the foundation laid by the sketches and everything like that. So it is real. Right. It's not just an interesting sort of time capsule back to this era, but yeah, to see the mark that it's left is really, really awesome.
And if you were to poll humans, how many do you think would know That's What She Said is from this versus people who think it's from The Office?
Not that many, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, a certain generation probably would be much higher. Like Gen X would probably be much, highly concentrated in knowing it's from this. But
right.
Yeah. I
but
didn't
the younger
know.
kids who watch The Office, no way.
Yeah, I didn't know it was from this. And honestly, like Geoff was looking something up afterwards, and it had like a list of all the things that were from this movie, sayings and different. And that's what she said was on the list. And I was like, I don't even remember him saying it in the movie. So I don't even know what the context was. But to me, it didn't like stand out. And maybe that's just because we hear that's what she said a lot nowadays.
They did it a couple times, but I believe when I was reading, I believe they always in the sketch was always the same joke. It was always the same setup for that's what she said.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Whereas obviously on The Office, they use it for a lot of different things.
Yeah. That and showing.
Swing.
And the not, that's a
That's
that's a good one.
As
Not.
a 90s kid, like that was used all the time.
Big time.
Yeah, and I feel like even that too, if you ask people what it's from, like the first thing that comes to my mind just immediately, if you're like, oh, who did the not bit? It's Borat.
Oh yeah.
Because Borat, like that was one of the things that got repeated a ton from the Borat movie was like, this tie is black. Not.
But I feel like that was happening like when I was a kid. People would be like something not, like which was before Borat came out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember, but I believe you. And obviously it came from this. But like if you had just asked me without the context of this, I probably would have been like, I don't know, Borat.
It's real funny to watch this movie, and I'm looking at it from a maybe too serious of a lens, but it is really funny to see what happens to the Wayne's World show as they get a little too big, or the idea of becoming something bigger is flashed in front of their eyes. We see it so many times with so many businesses, I feel like, in today's day and age, where they've got a really good thing going on the small scale, and then when the opportunity to get bigger is there and they jump on it not really knowing what they're getting into, they lose the plot big time. And it's so funny to see that still so relevant today, and how it's portrayed here is really, really true to, almost feels a little too harsh and true to life, because now that we're of the age where we're all kind of in our 30s and everything like that, where it's like we have this attachment to stuff from our childhood, and now it's like, oh well, now it's gone. It tried to get too big or whatever it is, and we've lost that touch. It hurts a little bit. So he's seeing those kind of things as an adult really make it hurt just that little bit more. So I think it's a really fascinating critique of that sort of business acquisition lifestyle, if you will, just a couple of weeks after we see Pretty Woman, and that being the central job of our main character in that movie.
I think it would be really easy to fall into that trap. Like, you'd like to think you'd be like pure about it, but like, I don't think that's the thought when money comes calling. You know what I mean? Like, probably people who get into that situation should probably think, well, I can do both. I can make money off of it and continue to have it be what I want it to be. And I feel like that almost never happens. I feel like a good recent example of that was, what was the name of that COVID thing that John Krasinski did?
Oh yes,
Some Good News or whatever. Something like, and and it was like this feel good COVID thing that everybody was watching when things were shut down, and then Paramount or somebody came calling and corporatized it. Then it like lost all its appeal.
Yeah. Also, you have people like Rob Lowe that are just very good at their jobs. That like when he was first talking to the Noah, the arcade guy, I was like, wow, this is really like, just how, I don't even know if he was technically a salesperson, if that's like his job title or whatever, but I was like, the way he was just snaking in there and making and then at the end, Noah's like, that was my idea. And they're like, wow, what a great idea, sir. And he's like, yeah, thank you. I know.
Rob Lowe is good at playing sleazy.
I was about to say, speaking of Rob Lowe, here's my history. I don't have a long history with Rob Lowe. I wouldn't have before this movie or anything. My first introduction to Rob Lowe was as Chris Traeger on Parks and Rec. So seeing a movie like this with him, especially at one point where he says literally,
he does. Yeah.
I could not get I was like, there it is. There, I started like snapping, like the Leo snapping at the TV meme. I was like, oh, yep, he said it. He said it, Chris Traegerism.
Yeah, it's funny because like I feel like he often plays these types of roles, especially earlier in his career. He was playing these kinds of roles a lot. But like the two things I really know him from are Parks and Rec, and then West Wing, where he's also like a good person as a character. So
I was gonna ask if you guys noticed that he did the Chris Traeger literally.
oh yeah, yeah.
Big time.
It was so obvious, but like I guess that must just be Rob Lowe and not a specific character, I guess.
He's very good. I loved him in this movie. I think he plays that part perfectly, and I know he's meant to be the villain and whatever, but the way he navigates through every conversation and the way he is just so persistent throughout it with everybody he engages with, from the Wayne's World guys to Cassandra, he's always asking questions. And as someone who works in loosely in marketing myself, it is very funny to see the questions that he's asking and trying to get that interest in and everything like that. And then jumping on those opportunities. It was really cool to see that and to see Rob Lowe in something other than just super friendly, happy, upbeat Parks and Rec guy.
There were so many people in this movie. I was like, every single person, I was like, oh, him, oh, her, like just people I recognized from 90s TV, from SNL, from, like.
I was going to say, I know when I was doing the cast intro there at the beginning, I only gave a handful of names. Who did I miss, Ben? I would love for you to
Ed
highlight.
O'Neill, I don't think you said, right?
Nope, definitely did not.
Yeah.
He's pretty memorable in this. The I don't know the actor's name, but the one guy he was the landlord on Friends, or not the landlord, like the handyman on Friends, the bigger guy. There's a bunch of people, again, like I didn't name names because I'm like that guy, like it's like people I've seen in things, like
right. I did love Ed O'Neill in this. It's like it's such a random like throwaway like side character. I don't know if that character is in like the Wayne's World sketches or not, but like to me, not having seen the SNL sketch, his character just feels so out of left field that he's just this random guy, but it's so funny.
Yeah. He was in one SNL sketch when he hosted.
Oh, okay.
One Wayne's World sketch.
Got it. Hysterical.
So I wonder if he was like doing the same kind of bit because like
it was, yeah. I think so.
The whole I don't know, guy working at a coffee shop just keeps talking about like murdering a man. It's so funny.
Oh, that donut shop looked great too. Wish we had a
was
donut shop like that near us.
90s era donut shop.
It reminded me of Mel's Drive-In from American Graffiti.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of 90s, I really enjoyed the old school Pizza Hut and Doritos and Pepsi.
Oh my gosh, that was my favorite part of the movie. I cannot express enough how much I loved that little segment of going from Pizza Hut to the Reeboks to the Doritos to the Pepsi and the medicine. Oh my gosh, so good.
Doritos has changed the most.
Yeah, for sure. I love when movies
you almost
have
forget
like
that's how Doritos used to look.
Yeah. Love when they have those like meta moments.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously just done for satire here, but Ben, I'm sure you enjoyed the Laverne and Shirley recreation as well.
That was my favorite part. I didn't know if you guys would know that was Laverne and Shirley.
I
didn't know if you watched Laverne and Shirley.
I did not, and I didn't know it was Laverne and Shirley, but as soon as it started, I was like, they're recreating a TV opening. I don't know what TV show it is, but I 100% know that that's what they're doing.
Right. Well, and Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley were both set in Milwaukee, so that's like the whole thing with why I think they did the Laverne and Shirley one. But it's
Gotcha.
like shot for shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Laverne and Shirley credits, it's a shot for shot remake.
Even putting the glove on the bottle.
Yes.
Watching it go.
Yes. In fact, I think the part where the glove is going by itself, where you don't see Wayne and Garth, I think that's actually just straight from. I don't even think I think that's from the theme song.
Like we're just gonna take this clip.
And same with that zoom in on the Welcome Milwaukee Visitors. I think is also from straight from the theme song and not redone for that. Which I just recently, my family went to Wisconsin this summer. We drove through Milwaukee.
Nice.
Did
you see any of that stuff?
I did not recreate the Laverne and Shirley opening, and I've read that Welcome Milwaukee Visitors is no longer on. That's City Hall, I guess, but it's no longer on there anymore.
That makes sense. I guess that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Very fun though.
They also, in another classic TV, they talked about the two Darrens from Bewitched also. So
The what?
the two Darrens on the show Bewitched. They had a discussion about that. Wayne and Garth did.
2-day earns?
Two Darrens. Her husband.
Darrens.
Darrin. Her husband on Bewitched. They had two different actors play that part famously.
Oh, okay.
And Wayne and Garth were talking about it, which again, like, this is the kind of stuff that in 1992, Laverne and Shirley wasn't that old. Bewitched wasn't that old. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they were more common they were as old as shows like, Scrubs in the Office now. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
Those were well-known pop culture things that were still playing heavily in reruns, but Laverne and Shirley aired from 76 to 83. And this was 1992. So it wasn't,
Yeah.
this wasn't like only Nick at Night nerds like me watching it. Like
right.
almost everybody who saw that movie probably knew at the time it was a Laverne and Shirley reference.
Nice. So I was gonna ask this, but now I feel like I know your answer now, Ben, after something you said earlier, but I wanted to ask you both who you like more or gravitate more, Wayne or Garth?
Yeah, I'm definitely Garth, only because I like Dana Carvey so much more than Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Garth is probably the more fun hang. As much as I do like Wayne a lot. I do really enjoy Wayne because I think as annoying of like the lead sort of mind-numbing person or whatever you want to call it, the town goof or whatever he might be, I still would hang around with him for sure, but I know he's got that sort of male, like lead male character energy or whatever you want to call it. Garth is just there for a fun time. It is very so it was very funny watching his journey throughout the movie as someone who was scared to even interact with the average person, just didn't want to engage with anybody or anything, slowly become more and more confident throughout the movie. Plus just his goofiness there. Yeah, Garth is a better hang.
Yeah, I would agree with you both. I do very much like Wayne, but Garth's like you were saying, his kind of nervous energy and awkwardness, the way he interacts with other people and with the camera is just so funny to me.
I feel like he's more likable too. Like he's more someone you root for, like, because Wayne can be a little irritating, I feel like. I mean, he can be funny, but like Garth just feels like, oh, poor Garth. You're like
Is pull asides to camera where he's like, hey, come here, guys. And then comes in and he's like, oh, he's nervous about signing the contracts, but he's too scared to say anything. Or when he's like, come here, guys, and you follow him around the penthouse, Rob Lowe's penthouse. It's very, very, he just has that great effect. And I appreciate that. I appreciated that as someone, watching the movie.
Yeah. I love all the talking to camera moments.
Yeah.
Garth and Wayne and any other character who did it. It's very funny.
Another character that I'm not the biggest Chris Farley fan either. I know, like, him and Mike Myers are two beloved actors from that era of SNL. I've never quite found them as funny. Really, a lot of people from that era, like Adam Sandler too, just that. And I, you always hear like what's your SNL cast? And it's almost always like the group that you watched when you were either like in high school or in college. So I get that, like, there's a lot of people who are very very attached to that particular late 80s, early 90s cast. A lot of them I've not quite been my cup of humor. I did think Chris Farley was really funny in his brief appearance in this movie, though.
Very
he was
funny.
doing something a little bit different than he usually. It was a little more understated, and I appreciated that with him.
I appreciated his slow pans across, and then he would like stop and then shake really aggressively. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate like that is it's perfect.
Yeah, I said to Geoff, I was like, this might be one of the first times I've ever seen Chris Farley not like lose it, because he's always so angry and like yelling and
crashing through things and falling on the ground.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, he just kind of like stood there and talked. Crazy. This is also our second Tia, what's her last name?
Carrera.
Tia Carrera movie, and the guy who played Noah.
Sorry, Tia Carrere. Sorry.
Tia Carrere. And the
Yes.
guy who played Noah. Both friends of the pod.
Brian Doyle Murray. Yep. Shout out,
Classics.
shout out to Lilo and Stitch and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
What other? So you've seen Superstar. What other SNL skits turns movies have you seen?
Oh, I don't know. I would have to look up a list.
Let me see.
Those are just the two I know off the top of my head.
I think there's 11. I think I read.
There are 11. Yep. Let me see. So let me see. I've seen chunks of Blues Brothers. I have seen Superstar. I've seen Wayne's World. Weirdly enough, that might be it. I know there are a bunch of the movies that are like the SNL skit movies that I know I would like. Like I know I would like MacGruber, for example.
I didn't know some of these were based on SNL skits. I have not seen the Blues Brothers. I've seen the little thing that they do at Universal Studios. They have the Blues Brothers come out and do a little show. I've definitely seen the Coneheads when I was like very young. I've seen A Night at the Roxbury, and then obviously Superstar and Wayne's World.
Yeah, I've actually seen It's Pat, which is so random. It's not. It was terrible, but it's interesting how many, when you look at them, like Blues Brothers is 1980, and then there's been two in the 2000s, one of them in 2000, and then everything else is in the 90s. For how long SNL's been on, and for how, like, this is obviously like a thing they did in the 90s that they didn't continue very much besides MacGruber.
Yeah, I wonder if because like a lot of them didn't do super great.
Yeah, a few of them were big bombs at the box office, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. And it probably is a testament to the declining impact, if you will, of something like a Saturday Night Live and that sort of regular sitcom, or the attempt to take something from the TV space / streaming space nowadays and try to bring it to the big screen. We just saw it with The Mandalorian and Grogu that came out earlier this year, taking something that's been a TV show and taking it to the box office. You're not maybe going to see the strongest returns. So,
well, and SNL also does not do recurring sketches like they used to do.
That's a good point.
Like they do, they'll do like their political sketches like they always do. But then a lot of they'll sometimes have like a similar theme. They've only recently, I feel like, start to do them again. But that was such a hallmark of 90s SNL and 2000s SNL. And then I feel like really in the last decade or so, they've gotten away from that. And they've started to do a few of them again with, what's his name? Domingo or whatever. And they've started to do a few recurring sketches again. They have a few recurring characters on Weekend Update and things like that. But those that era of doing a Wayne's World sketch every couple weeks or every a few times a year, SNL just really doesn't have, that's not really their model of things anymore.
That's what I was gonna kind of ask about was, because some of these to me feel like super random, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe they were super popular, like recurring sketches of the time, but yeah, I couldn't even tell you if there were any recurring sketches today.
There's a few. It's just not something they do as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I know of is Weekend Update, and you can't really do something with that.
No.
In terms of a film, unless it is to follow two newscasters who just get, wrapped up in whatever. But
I mean, there were tons even into the 2000s in the Amy Poehler, Jason Sudeikis era. Like there were a ton of Kristen Wiig obviously had a lot of recurring characters, but I feel like this recent era, it's been I don't know. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because things get so replayed on YouTube and on the internet that they don't feel like they need to do the same thing. I don't know if that's part of the reason of it,
Yeah.
They're trying to go viral. You can't keep doing the same character kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like another one I didn't really like. I don't really like the ones they've turned into movies. There are some recurring sketches on SNL I've loved, but I don't know that I would want to see any of them be movies, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason, again, that an SNL sketch is 4 to 5 minutes long.
May I ask what some of your favorites are that have not been turned into movies, like you said?
Yeah, I love the two a-holes that Jason Sudeikis and Kristen Wiig played. I loved Amy Poehler being the little girl with her Uncle Rick. I forget what her name was on that sketch, but Uncle Rick was Horatio Sands, and she'd run around like a little 5-year-old who was irritating him all the time. Some of the Kristen Wiig ones, like the Target lady. There was a great one I used to love called "What Up with That" or "What's Up with That." No, that's wait, scratch that. I do like "What's Up with That," but that's not what I meant to say. The one I meant to say was there was a great one called Deep House Dish. It was Kenan Thompson and Andy Samberg hosting like it was sort of Wayne's World. It was like a house music kind of TV show, like kind of low tech TV show thing. And Andy Samberg was T Shane was his name, and Keenan would always be like, "Ooh, wee T Shane." There was a great middle school talk show called Wake Up Wakefield that had was it Maya Rudolph? I think it was Maya Rudolph, and then Rachel Dratch was this character named Sheldon, who was like this kind of weird little co-host. And then they'd have, I think it was Horatio Sands, who was the principal, and he would be like that real awkward like principal trying to be cool on the TV show. So those are a few that come to mind, but again, I don't know that any of them I would want to see as a full-length movie. Oh, Morning Latte with Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry. I loved that back in the day. That was like a Regis and Kathy Lee kind of takeoff.
I was just going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here on this Wikipedia page I was on. I didn't realize that Saturday Night Live exists in other countries.
They just started one in the UK in the last like 2 years.
Yeah, there's Canada, Egypt, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Korea, Spain, and the UK. But I think it's very funny. The French version is just called Le Saturday Night Live, which feels very French of them. Anywho, back to this movie.
Anyway, sorry, that was a weird rabbit hole. I could talk about SNL sketches a lot. I was just,
I love it.
I wasn't prepared to talk about them, so I just threw. I'm sure I'm forgetting some I like, but
no, you're good. I put you on the spot there, and you did well.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
So the scene where the girl flips off her bike.
Yes,
that actually almost sort of happened to me. In real life. When I was a teenager, early teenager, like 13 or something, there was a girl I liked, and I was biking, and I saw her on her bike, and we were friendly. So I like put up like a little X with my fingers, like as a joke, like, oh, you know, like kind of a joke thing. And when I did that, I fell off my bike.
Did she laugh at you, come to help you, or just ride away?
She laughed, and then I like laughed it off too. It hurt though. It was not.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
And yeah, we didn't end up dating or anything.
Game on.
Oh, that whole bit with the street hockey thing, I loved it so much. I just remember playing in the street like catch, whether it be with the baseball or football or like hockey or anything, and then cars coming by and having to scramble to get. Oh, so nostalgic for that. It was so funny.
I really love that part where they pull up next to the guy in the limo and ask him if he has any Grey Poupon.
So
like
good.
I remember that commercial.
Oh yeah.
But when did that commercial come out? It must have been around the time of this movie, I would think.
I mean, yeah, it feels like it was 90s for sure.
Let me look it up.
And same with like Chia Pets and Clap On, Clap Off. I haven't thought about either of those in a long time.
That's what you get when you're watching TV that late at night, as they are when you've gotten to the Wayne's World part of public access TV.
Oh, I guess they were doing those Grey Poupons in the 80s.
Oh,
okay.
Like 80,
well, I mean, this was 92,
81.
so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have a commercial that was made in 1994, and I'm like, that's definitely the one I remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, lots and lots of cultural bits and jokes and just things that are placed in this movie. Very much
I
a time capsule.
I love how popular they were. Speaking of sort of time capsule, the impact of just TV and even something like public access TV. I know it's drawn up to be a bit, but the fact that they were so popular amongst their little circles and stuff, I wonder how much work they put into to tell people like, "Yo, we got a show on Channel 10 or whatever." And seeing everybody in the community being like, "Oh, there's Wayne, there's Garth." I feel like if this was done in a different light, they'd be looked on as like losers or whatever. But the fact that they were embraced by people of all different kinds of looks, all different kinds of ages, it was kind of charming and heartwarming there to see them kind of go around at night and everything and be recognized out at clubs or at the donut shop. It was like, oh, this is cute. Never would have expected that in a movie like this.
Yeah, that's fair. I hadn't really thought about that. I did think it was interesting that like grown adults were also watching this show,
Yeah.
like Rob Lowe's girlfriend at the beginning of the movie, and the police officer watches it. And I was like, seems a little odd that you guys are watching this show, but okay.
You didn't have a lot of choices back in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
These guys would have made a killing on a YouTube show, having a YouTube show or a Twitch stream or whatever.
I feel like cable access was sort of like the YouTube of its time.
Yo, for sure.
Say, I'm sure they're the inspiration behind many a YouTube personality.
Weirdly enough, I immediately thought of the Pat McAfee show with Wayne's World. Now, Pat McAfee show has become massive, and Pat McAfee was already a decent sized star to begin with when that show kicked off, but kind of the YouTube effect and everyone just kind of hanging out and pardon my French, shooting the shit back and forth and just talking about whatever comes on your mind, and the way that that has since exploded and has kind of lost some of its steam since being picked up by ESPN, at least in my opinion. It's very funny to see the parallels and the way kind of those YouTube shows are the way that they are, or streaming shows are the way that they are, in a similar vein to something like a Wayne's World.
It does feel like, yeah, the closest you have to what was the cable. I mean, because I think back in the day, like cable access was like a thing, you know, like I remember my brother and I used to always make fun of these two old ladies named Peachy and Elaine. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Them, Amanda. They were like these two old ladies who did a cooking show out of Jamestown. And, you know, but like that was like you had like that kind of thing back in the day, you know, and I do think probably the closest equivalent is a YouTube star, except that it's not tied to local, you know, these were like no matter wherever you grew up, you had a few quote unquote stars. That's a very generous word for what these people were, but people that people knew who they were because of their local ties and stuff. And I feel like they had a lot of I don't know, a lot of local flavor that you don't get with a YouTube thing. But I feel like in terms of what it accomplished, it filled a similar role that YouTube does.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
It would have to be something like you come up with the show on YouTube, but then go super hard on Instagram and TikTok with the very local emphasis and trying to draw attention towards your show or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. We haven't really talked about what I think is maybe one of the most iconic scenes of this movie.
Yep. This was next on my list to talk about the intro / the first Bohemian Rhapsody bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Glad we're all on the same page. Perfect. Yes. We have not talked about the Bohemian Rhapsody segment yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what more there is to say other than it's freaking awesome. But certainly I think the most iconic scene in this movie. And I think I read that because of its use in this movie, it kind of repopularized the song and probably the band, like in the US.
Well, and I read that like Mike Myers is supposed to be a different song or something, and Mike Myers threatened to quit over the fact that it wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody. And Freddie Mercury died not too long before this movie was released, and apparently had seen a cut of that scene, and thought it was hilarious and gave his blessing for it.
That's awesome. Okay, so here's this note. Check this out. This is on the Bohemian Rhapsody Wikipedia page. In the United States, the song peaked at number 9 in 1976, but reached a new peak of number 2 after appearing in the 1992 film Wayne's World.
All right, there you go.
Amazing.
It's just so relatable because who doesn't sing that song like that, especially when you have other people with you in the car or wherever you're listening to it. Everybody takes a different part and you just, scream it with all your heart.
It was great seeing them all bounce back and forth between each other. Galileo, 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 Galileo. And they're all going back and forth between each other. And then when it gets to the headbanging part, like they've all got the long hair and they're all going crazy. And you can see, and Wayne's not even driving the car anymore. He's let go of the wheel. He's just going crazy. It's so relatable.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, my poor drunk man in the back seat in the middle who can't hurl, but if he does, has a little like Skippy cup of out of Garth's pocket. Like, here's, if you're gonna hurl, do it here. He's even getting into it in his non-sober state. Just great stuff. Iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and speaking of music in this movie, I was like thinking about how Alice Cooper was a good 20 plus years into his career when this movie was filmed, and now he's 30 plus years later still kind of doing the same thing.
The exact same bit.
His thing is so funny when they're like in the backstage with him, and I forget what they ask him, and he goes off about like the Native Americans and so like
because he was come to Milwaukee often. He's like, actually. Oh, and them getting down on the ground. We're not worthy.
That's another famous thing from this.
Yeah.
So iconic.
Yep.
That's one that I feel like have used not knowing it was from Wayne's World.
Well, because they do it in Hercules too.
That's true. They do, yeah.
They do that in Hercules.
Worms.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing that's like funny that like it was Obsession, that was the movie Obsession, that the director was inspired in part by a Simpsons episode. But like those Simpsons writers were inspired by things that came before that. You know what I mean? Like I think some people don't even, they think they're ripping off or honoring, not ripping off, that's a mean word to say. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like they think that they're like getting it from something, not realizing that those people got it from something.
Right, exactly.
And this is why movies and TV and books are important.
Right. Which is fine. I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think some people get all high and mighty about it, but like like everybody is a copycat on things, and if you're lifting things from stuff that lifted it from good stuff, like it's
yeah. Who actually has like a truly original idea anymore?
Right? Plus the Simpsons have been around for 30 plus years. Like, come on.
They've done
at
everything.
Some point. Exactly. They've done everything. And for a certain generation, that's all they, like Curry Barker, you mentioned the Obsession thing. Curry Barker's under 30 years old. He's in his mid 20s. He's known the Simpsons his entire life. So he hasn't lived in a world that hasn't had the Simpsons and he was born during the peak era of the Simpsons. So yeah, it makes sense that would be a source of inspiration.
Okay, but you know what's really hilarious? Ben, I actually had not even pieced together that the We're Not Worthy thing was in Hercules until you said it. And then I said, well, it's also in Hercules. And I'm like, that's so funny because that's probably where they got it from.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just so random having a bit of Wayne's World in Hercules.
Well, it's just like the whole, the That's What She Said is, of course, most people associate now with Michael Scott, which they actually used in, I was reading about the origins of That's What She Said, because they also used it in the British office, but it wasn't That's What She Said. It was like a British colloquialism.
The British version.
Yeah, it was, let me get this right. Said the bishop, what is it? As the actress said to the bishop.
Oh.
That was the original kind of That's What She Said joke.
Oh, okay.
And that's what Ricky Gervais uses on the British Office. But the thing I love is, like, obviously the reason the Office did it probably was partly because of the British Office version, but it totally makes sense that Michael Scott would be quoting Wayne's World.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know, like in the first episode of The Office, he does the "What's up" thing. You know, like he's very much a pop culture guy, and so the fact that he would be taking these jokes and making them his own is totally in character for Michael Scott.
Absolutely,
100%.
All right, I think we're well past our time, but might have to cut a few things out. But
so much to say about Wayne's World.
I did want to ask really quick what you guys thought about the alternate endings.
In our Clue world, I don't know how I felt about it, actually. Weirdly enough, I thought it was a funny sort of meta way to close things out. Shout out to Clue, friends of the pod, I guess. But I don't know. I thought it was okay. Maybe not as
I was sort of like,
as I hope.
Friends, your movie is long enough. We don't need to keep going.
They were all very short, though.
They were short, yeah.
I think it was a good way to end this kind of movie, you know, where everything is like non-serious anyways. I just thought it was very funny, like, oh, let's have this unexpected ending where like everything goes wrong and you're like, wait, hold on, what? And then they're like, let's do the Scooby-Doo ending. And then, you know, they just have the everything happy ending, which is like, okay, that's how I thought this movie was gonna end. So I don't know. I think it's funny. And I do like the anyways, any final thoughts from you two?
I've got a gun. Let's go to Broadway.
I did love that that's what Garth imagined a New Yorker would say in New York.
Hi, I'm from Delaware. Or no, hi, I'm in Delaware. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Let's see. Geoff, what are our movie recommendations this week?
Okay, so movie recommendation number 1, we're going in the Mike Myers universe. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Feels pretty obvious to pick something that is so Mike Myers, and I wasn't going to do Shrek because you can't really see Myers in that. But yeah, that is another iconic movie for an iconic comedian. So yeah, definitely would pair that with this movie. Number 2 is sticking in the SNL, even to an extent, number 3. My number 2, sticking in the SNL world, Superstar. That one's specifically a shout out to you, Amanda. A movie I'm not personally a fan of, but I think is a good pairing with this one. It's very SNL coded with Molly Shannon and with Will Ferrell in that. Number 3 features a number of people in the SNL world. Not an SNL movie per se, but it's a movie about doing cool stuff with your best friends. Hot Rod with Andy Samberg and Bill Hader.
I've actually seen Hot Rod.
Oh, nice.
That's shocking.
Amazing. And then my last one, movies in the 2020s. I cannot recommend pairing this movie with Wayne's World enough. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Based on the TV show, Nirvana, the band, the show. Based on the web series, Nirvana, the band, the show. Featuring 2 guys from Toronto trying to get a gig at a nightclub. And the journey that they go through to try to do this, and the story it tells around friendship and just doing things with your best friends. It is very, very similar to the journey that Wayne and Garth go through in this movie. So love that movie. Cannot recommend it enough.
Ben, our TV recommendations?
I mean, obviously the first one is SNL. If you like Wayne's World, you can watch plenty more sketches. I don't know how many sketches there were, but I know they did it as not even that long ago. I feel like when either Mike Myers or Dana Carvey were on.
I was gonna say watch specifically from 1989, which is when Mike Myers starts as a featured actor, to 1993 when Dana Carvey is done. Probably.
Yeah, that's where there's the most for sure. But okay, there's 19 sketches during the Myers and Carvey years, so that's how often they used to do these recurring. That's how often they used to do these recurring sketches. But like I said, I think they did one not too long ago. Yeah, they did one for the 40th anniversary in 2015, and they did one in 2011 when Dana Carvey hosted. So that was longer ago than I thought. But that leads to my second one, which is the Dana Carvey show. which is was a short-lived ABC sketch comedy that aired in primetime in 1996. It was kind of well known for being a little subversive at the time. It certainly had its fans, but wasn't quite the vibe of a primetime ABC lineup show at the time. But the cast in it included obviously Dana Carvey. Louis C.K. was the head writer. The cast included Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, among others, and so that's famous for kind of giving early exposure to those two before they went to The Daily Show, which of course then talking about Steve Carell leads into the third one, which is The Office. If you find That's What She Said funny and pop culture references funny, that's of course a great option.
Perfect. All right. Time to move into our top 4. As I mentioned at the top, we are doing male SNL actors. We felt it was too large of a pool to include everyone. So
right,
when
we'll do the females another time. So don't at us.
There's definitely a movie that is on our long list of movies to cover.
Yes.
It
was hard enough to narrow this down for me. If I had to do all the SNL actors, it would have been impossible.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I had a huge long list to narrow down from. So, all right, Ben, let's hear your list first.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have 5 honorable mentions because I just couldn't do. So I don't know how you two are considering this. I'm considering their work on SNL. I imagine you're probably taking into account other things they've done. I am taking into account their work on SNL because like I said, I'm a big SNL watcher. It's very skewed towards later years of SNL, because that's the era that I watched regularly, and I still watch SNL almost every week it's on. And I, through high school and especially college and out of college, I was watching religiously. So it's a lot of representation from those eras. But again, I'm really just sticking to their work on SNL from my particular list. Although I do like these people and other things. My honorable mentions are Fred Armisen, who's so delightfully weird, Jason Sudeikis, who has some really great moments on the show, underrated, I think, sometimes as an SNL cast member. Daryl Hammond, who was a master impressionist, well known for Bill Clinton, for Al Gore. He did Trump back in the day before Alec Baldwin and the current Trump impersonator. Dana Carvey, who's my oldest cast member represented here, but loved The Church Lady, loved his George H.W. Bush. And then my close call, meaning I really wanted to do a top 5, but I couldn't get this guy on the list, is Bill Hader, who was sometimes a little too weird for me in his style of humor, but Stefan is one of the all-time greatest characters, and he just always had so many unique. There's never been anybody quite like him on SNL. All right, so my top 4. Number 4 is Bobby Moynihan, who I felt like an early adopter of Bobby Moynihan because my friends and I were watching his first episode, which is hosted by Michael Phelps back in 2008, coming off of the Olympics. And Bobby Moynihan did a sketch where he was like this waiter who was worried about the smell of pepper, and it was so funny. I was like, this guy's hilarious, and he's brand new. And so I felt like I was on board with him way early on, but then he became very famous for particularly things like his Snooki and Drunk Uncle, which were 2 of my favorite characters of his. I always thought he was really funny. I haven't liked him as much in things that he's done outside of SNL, but I really liked him on the show. Number 3 is Seth Meyers. Not a great sketch comedian, not really used much in sketches, but he was my favorite Weekend Update anchor, especially his time when he did it with Amy Poehler. And obviously he's parlayed that into his late night show where he's doing the same type of thing he did then. But he was also the head writer for a time between Tina Fey, took over, I believe, for Tina Fey when she left and did it until he left. And I feel like those, like SNL now, I really do like a lot of the actors on it. I don't think it's as well written as it was 10 or 15 years ago. And I credit a lot of that to Seth Meyers. Number 2, my boy, Kenan Thompson, who's the longest serving SNL cast member by far, 23 seasons, I believe, and can still hang with all the people who are much younger than him. Kenan is such a reliable joke machine and character. You can put him in as a game show host, as a news anchor, as a whatever. And he's an institution at SNL by this point, which is so funny to think of Keenan from Keenan and Kel becoming this institution, but he really has, and he's, I think, deserving of his long run. And then number one is Will Ferrell. I am very mixed on Will Ferrell movies, but there's no denying that his time on SNL was brilliant. I mean, that's why he has had such a big movie career, because he was locked in those 6 years he was on SNL with just so many funny characters, so many great moments. It was like kind of all the best things about Will Ferrell, as opposed to some of the things we've seen in the years since from him, where he's very up and down with his movies and other projects. But I think his SNL work is immaculate and holds up against anybody from any era. So apologies to the people who are listening or older fans, people like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. And, you know, I didn't, you know, Eddie Murphy. I didn't really watch those as much, and I'm sure they were funny. But, you know, this is my SNL era, the era of Seth and Keenan and Bobby Moynihan, Bill Hader, and all that. Will Ferrell's a little bit before, but I think when you watch his stuff, it's very worthy of being number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent list. Geoff, let's hear yours.
Awesome. Yeah, I will admit, I think I said it at the beginning, I don't watch a ton of SNL, but I've seen almost everybody involved with SNL to some extent out in the TV and movie landscape. So this list is going to be a hybrid of both of those worlds. So apologies for maybe not being the most like true blue SNL kind of list. So that's why my honorable mentions are going to be people from, say, before, you know, I was alive or even caring about this kind of stuff. So like Chris Farley, for example. I love Chris Farley. I think he's hilarious, but I don't remember him much from SNL. I've only seen him in a handful of movies, so he would be an honorable mention. The same thing would go for, say, a John Belushi as well. Even someone like Eddie Murphy, I would put as an honorable mention, but I know he left quite the impact on SNL back in the day. So my number 4 is going to be, let's go with Bill Hader. I think, Ben, you touched on it there in your honorable mentions, but Bill Hader is so funny. And even from the bits of SNL that I've seen, when he's been featured, I've done nothing but laugh. And everything he's done outside of SNL, I think is great. So big Bill Hader fan here. He is my number 4. My number 3, very, very similar to Bill Hader. And I think he gets a little bit of a boost because of his work outside of SNL, but it's Andy Samberg. And even with the work that he's done in SNL with The Lonely Island and how that has grown beyond even the lengths of SNL is amazing. I love Andy Samberg. He's so great, so funny. My number 2 and number 1 are a toss-up, but I think I'm going to weigh them a little differently based on their impact to SNL. So my number 2 and a close call is Adam Sandler. He wasn't on SNL for a long time, but he is truly one of the funniest human beings alive. And I love his work so much, both in the serious and the not so serious. I just adore Adam Sandler. Has played a very important part of my life growing up and even to this day. And then my number 1, Ben, we have the same number 1. It's Will Ferrell. And he gets the boost over Adam just because he was on SNL longer and I'm more familiar with his work on SNL specifically. Again, someone who's played a very important part of my life. So that is my top 4.
Party on. All right. So my list is not really based on SNL, just because, you know, I've seen a few sketches in my day, but I don't regularly watch it. So this is mostly based off of what I know of these people from other works. My honorable mention is Andy Samberg. Like you were saying, Geoff, I love The Lonely Island. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's very funny. Love him. My number 4 is Adam Sandler. Obviously, like I grew up watching his movies and have always loved him. Happy that he's still doing stuff and getting Oscars along the way. You know, it's fun to see a different side of him.
Oscar noms, sadly.
Sorry, Oscar noms, whatever. My number 3 is Bill Hader because I love Bill Hader in anything and everything. There's something about like his voice, the way he says things, his mannerisms. He's the main reason why I really want to see the new Cat in the Hat movie that's coming out this fall. So I love him. My number 2 is Will Ferrell. Again, I just grew up watching Will Ferrell's movies, and I've always been into his style of humor and think he's really great. My number 1 is the person that I've been watching the longest out of all of these people, and that is Kenan Thompson, because I loved him on All That, the little baby version of SNL. I loved him on Kenan and Kel. And of the many SNL sketches that I have seen with him in it over the 23 seasons he's been on the show, I've loved all of them. But like you said, Ben, he's just such a reliable character. He can literally be anything, and he's just always hits his mark. It's so good. But yeah, my sister actually sent me a meme the other day of Kenan when he was on All That, and he used to do that bathtub sketch where he was like in France and he was French and he was sitting in a bathtub, and he would just say like the most ridiculous things like, "May I hit you over the head with this bread?" or just the most random things. And I'm like, this is how 90s kids got their humor, is from this ridiculousness. So anyways, that's a great note about Kenan Thompson. I forget that he has essentially been in our lives our entire life. Yep. Seriously. And it's hopefully not scarred like all the other Nick kid actors.
I think he's done all right.
All right. Well, that wraps up our Wayne's World episode. Wayne's World. Party time. Excellent. I'd love to see if the timing worked out there on our Zoom chat. I don't think it did. No, probably not. I don't think it did. All right. Well, if you would like to watch along with us, we have exciting news. Our next episode is going to be our 100th episode. If you all can believe that. We've been at this for about 2.5 years now, and we have introduced Ben to 100 movies, which is crazy. Well, okay, I guess maybe
not 100 because we've had some non.
That's true, but not that many. We're very close.
Yeah. 100th regular episode, not counting our mini episodes.
Yes, yeah, that's true. We have had more than 100 episodes, counting the minis. But so anyways, we will be celebrating with a very iconic, very epic, very long, to Ben's chagrin, little movie called Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Woohoo!
Better start watching now so I have time.
Very exciting time. So be sure to watch along, or if you're like the rest of us normal people and know it very well and don't need to watch it again, just tune in and hear our thoughts.
How many installments do you think Ben will have to watch it in?
We're going to take bets. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating or review, and be sure to follow us on all our social channels. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
To infinity and beyond!
Why so serious?
I am serious, and don't call me Shook.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.